Hey guys, this is Rodney Gaylor from Rod's World. Thank you for watching the videos. We've got video number 2 coming up. What it is me making the mold of actually holding the epoxy resin and actually putting the wood and the little baits in it. So enjoy episode 2 on the epoxy pour. Thank you. Okay, I'm using a piece of plexiglass from Hobby Lobby, $2.99. So I bought a sheet of this stuff, and I just took and measured 2 inches here, because I think that's the thickness I want. If I look at it, that's giving me resin on both sides. So I measured 2 inches, no ruler, laid down a straight line, cut it, sheared it. It kind of gave a mark on it, and then I just broke it on off, and it looks like it sheared pretty good. So I'm going to do enough to do all the way around this thing, and then I'm going to figure out where I'm going to put it, and then I'll hot glue it up around it, because I want resin on the top and the bottom, which that's the bottom and the top. I want resin way out here, because I'm going to put a crankbait here. Let's turn it over since this is the front. I'm going to put a crawfish. I'm going to put a crankbait, like a flat bill crankbait here with a string coming off of it. So I want it to be pretty big. Not huge, but pretty big when I get done. So and it will take a lot of resin, but hey, hopefully I can keep this thing from now on, so it'll be worth it. I believe I found out the best way of making my layout on this. I've took and kind of got me the distance I wanted. I took a piece of the cutoff. See it on the camera or not. And then I put a piece of tape on the back side, laid it down on a straight edge, had the tape folded back, laid it down, got it straight, and then peeled the tape over, putting the tape like that. So now, which I do have a piece of tape here too, now I can just straighten it up, square it up like this. And that made it a whole lot easier. I did it on this piece back here. This one I put some glue on it, the first one, and I put tape on it. But probably the best way to do it would be put the tape on your piece, peel the plastic off that comes with the plexiglass, and then put your piece of tape on it, lay it on a straight edge, and then just fold your tape over, and you got a good straight line, and it seals it too. So I'm not worried about the resin going under this part. I'm not worried about the resin going under this part, because I can shave that little corner off, sand it, and polish it back. The worst part is if you had the whole sides and the bottom looking like, you know, really rough, and you have to polish it a lot. I don't want to have to polish a lot. So okay, here's what I'm putting. My resin is a tabletop epoxy, and I'm going to do about 6 ounces of each, up to 12 ounces. I'm wanting this to be at least 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick. This is my thicker resin. I like doing my thickest side first because of the pouring the thinner one on top makes it a whole lot easier than the thick one. It wants to gump out and everything, so it just don't do as good. If I can see my 6 ounces, and this may be way too much. It's looking quite a bit, but right there is right at 6. But I've got to cover that thing, so I believe that 6 will be close enough. I don't care if it's thicker than I need. I just don't want it too thin on there. This is a 50-50, so I'm just adding. See, there's right around 12. Okay, so that's the two mixes. Now all I gotta do is stir it up and pour it in, let it dry. I'm gonna pour it in, mix it, pour it in, and let it dry, and then I'll take another layer and put on it and stick the wood piece in on top of this one. So this is just stir, scrape the sides and the bottom, and stir, scramble it like eggs, and then you should be good to go. But I'll come right back. Got it stirred up. So now it's totally stirred up. Now I'm just going to pour it on there and let it level itself out. As you can see, of course it's full of bubbles, but it don't matter. The worst thing could happen is if this pours out around the edges where the tape ain't in the right spot or something. That would be the worst thing that could happen. It all runs out of my mold. My mold's pretty level. Should be enough to make it do right. As you can see, it's working itself right to the corners like it should do. I'm going to take the stick and scrape this out of my cup, so I've got no leftover. So that's how it should look until the next time. You should see it dried without so many bubbles in it, and it should be dried out and hardened. So till next time. I've just come out and looking at my pour that I did, and it does look like it leaked out some of the glue. I've got a spot right here, it's got some leakage went under, and then on the bottom where I taped this row, all the rest of them looks good. But on this row, the very first one I did, it had run through my tape and out the bottom here. Not leaking much, but it did leak some out on it, and you can see how thick it is, about 1/4 inch. Over here we got like real shallow here, but thicker in the middle, and over here thinner here and thinner here, but thicker in the middle. I had the stick under here, and that's the reason it was thin in the corner, which is no big deal. It still looks good, and I can put my stuff in here and my wooden piece in it. I am going to lightly sand this because this is so slick. I don't want it to release off of this layer, so I'm going to do a light sand on it. I'm talking 220 grit sandpaper. I may have some here. Here's some 80 grit. I got some 220 there, but I'd like to save that one. Let me go get some 220, and then I'll come back and sand it. Okay, I got me some 220 grit. I'm just going to very lightly scuff this up, just so that when I pour more resin on it, that it will actually bond and not want to release. The scratches should fill up with the resin, leaving it looking good. It's kind of weird how this mold is thicker in the middle. So I guess the bottom bowed up in the middle on the bottom side. I don't know, but it's thicker in the middle than it is on the edges. It's like it grouped in the middle for some reason. Okay, that should be ready to pour more in. Let's get it back to the way I had it. This is the way I poured it the first time. Did have a couple little air things that I see it's in there. I may take a X-Acto knife and pop some of them, make sure it's, or not a X-Acto knife, or just a razor blade. Let's see if that resin will fill back up there and get rid of that, hopefully. Hope it fills it up good. I did not use a torch to flash off any air. This resin's been really good on not having to do that. But as you can see, there are a few little air bubbles in this thing. But I believe that's good enough. Good enough for who it's for. Okay, let's get my wood piece over here. Here's the wood piece I'm putting in it. It's looking good, good and soft. I usually don't like touching something I'm putting in composites, so oil, my hands won't get on it. But I believe we're okay on this one. Okay, let's go with get me some gloves on. And what I'm going to do is mix up some resin, pour in here, and then wet this, set this in here wet on this wet, like so, with it being wet, so stick to it and seal the bottom, making it look good. And then I'm gonna let it cure and then come back and put my little creatures in I'm putting in it. I just mixed me up some resin, got it all ready. I do have a paintbrush here. I'm going to go ahead and paint the back side of this part that I'm putting in, this piece of wood. That way I'm guaranteed I've got every spot filled. Look how pretty that wood is. That pearl looks good too, don't it? Okay, now I know I've got it sealed, and do I will anyway, but this way I know I've got it sealed. I don't know if you can see it, but that's pretty. I'll wet this up here in a second. Okay, pouring it in. Make sure it gets in every corner. Like so. Okay, got it all wet out. Now I'm gonna set this in there. Kind of squeeze it in there. I want less on top than I do on the bottom. This thing may float around on me. We'll put a piece of tape on it if we have to. Keep it from sliding. See, it wants to roll to one place. Okay. Which I believe I can take some tape and push that thing to where it stays right there. Just a piece of tape over and a piece of tape over should work. Okay. Let me kind of work on that a little bit. Okay, I've put a couple pieces of tape on it. It looks like it's going to stay in place now. Now really the only thing I need to do is get the resin out of the cup that's left. No use wasting it. I think I'm going to pour it right here on the part itself. Go ahead and get a coating of that on there. Because I'm going to glue on some stuff. And that way it doesn't be clear resin under wherever I glue. Look how pretty that cedar looks underneath that. I got tape right to there, so I don't really want to go past that. Them streaks there should all blend back, but and on this one, I don't care to leave little bubbles looking in it, truthfully, because this is water, so this would be showing like you're underwater, so really don't hurt to have bubbles. Even though I could flash it off and gas them out with a torch. I think that looks pretty good. Let that run down, do its thing. Self-level out. I did waste the paintbrush, but it really ain't wasted if you used it, so. I was watching them little bubbles pop down there. Okay. Alrighty, let's see what happens. Throw this outside and let it kick out there so it won't get hot and catch anything on fire. That's the bad thing about paintbrushes. They will get really, really hot, but this is a slow cooking resin, so it may take a long time for it would actually get hot. Okay, we'll see if this thing's recording again. That's all I'm going to do today. I'm going to let this set. As you can see, I'm about a ½ inch thick. That'd be perfect for my little crankbait that I'm putting in there. See what happens. That stuff there should start popping out. I guess I could take a torch over it once and see what happens. This resin's been doing really good without the torch. Without torching anything. I will hit it once. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. I don't know if this is recording or not, but I turn it so far over. There. I got rid of all them little bitty bubbles. Let's just put that with it. Until tomorrow, we'll see what happens. Okay, here's some goodies I got that I'm going to use in my mold. Here it is. It's actually dried. It's still tacky to touch, which is good for pouring more on top of it. I'm going to try to put this moss on it. I've got some fishing line that's the blue. That means that it glows in the dark with the UV lights. I'm hoping when I put the light on it, it may show even the fishing line. And this is my little crawdads. It used to be live crawdads that they put in these packs to fish with. That I got at the store, the Easy Tro store. So I think I may have to use the hot gun, heat gun. I'll plug it up, but I don't think I do. Let's plug it up to a extension cord. Excuse me. I believe I could actually, because it's still tacky to touch, that I might be able to just stick it on there and it stick, like the little crawl and stuff in the moss. But anyway, let me figure out what I'm going to do here, and I'll come back. Okay, I'm going to tie my fishing line on my bait that I'm going to put in there. There's the little crawls. I think I picked one out that I want the best, and then I'm going to put 2 on it. I think it's going to look cool as I'll get out, but we'll see. It may not look worth a dime, but... trying to do the polymer knot on it, but I don't know if I've got enough fishing line to make it work right. Okay. Let's see if that done right. This is a 20-pound test line. I would never put a 20-pound test line on a small crankbait like this. But they don't have to know that. Looks like it's a good knot. Okay, there's my fishing line. I'm going to lay this bait. Okay, if it's pulling through the water, it's going to be pulling like this, digging. I want to put it right about here, pulling through like it just came by the crank, like it just came by. Something like that with the crank. Fishing line to go up here like this, and I may just cut that off and just let it sit on there like that, but that looks pretty good like that. I think that would be similar to how it would look. Okay, let's see how warm this gun's getting. This blue gun, it's getting warm. What I don't want it to do is float up. It's actually sticking into it pretty good like it, so that's sticking to it, which would be perfect. I'm going to cut this off right here. Just wish I had scissors. This knife may make me pull it off the sticky part. Yep, been pulling that off. Sticky part. Okay, you can see where the hooks was. It's still, I can push it down into the resin where it's not totally being cured. Oops, that hook ain't right. The other hook is right. This may need to be down just a little, like that, to where they're pulled like that. Okay, now let's take this rope, or this fishing line, let's stick it to where like it's being pulled out of the water here. Running as straight as I can get it towards the corner. Don't want it to flop that way. I really don't want it at the edge. I like it to be at least a 1/4 inch away from the edge, if I could. That's going to cut this off a little more. That should be pretty good. I kind of like him right there where he's at. Like he's crawling up that edge. Well, this big guy, I want him to be sitting up on this corner here. They look cool or what? Give it a little different colors in here, hopefully. Okay. I don't much care for that piece, I don't think. It didn't look good to me. Kind of like, let's get a leaf that looks like this more. know if that looks natural either. Wood looks pretty good, don't it? Let's put some of this red stuff. I don't know what this is. Man, it's some stringy stuff. Oh, my crow fell off. That's what I don't want to happen. Hoping the light would come up through it and look pretty cool. Okay. I don't know if this looks like too much of a mess. I don't want it to be higher than this because that's where I'm pouring to. So maybe it'll fold back down on it. Stick it down a little bit. I don't necessarily want this out in here either. Okay. I don't know if this old red stuff's what I want. It may not look good. It's almost too much, ain't it? Maybe not as much of it. Ouch. Got a hook. There's a hook there. Looks like it's going to get hung up. Don't want it to look like it's hung up. Trying to make it look as natural as I can. If he'd stay up there like that, I'd be happier. He's falling. He's falling. Okay, that don't look too bad. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see if we can put a little bit more of this. Peeping out down here at the bottom. Looks like it should go the other way. Like this here. It's down at the bottom. Don't want to hide my crawl, but okay, that kind of looks pretty good, don't it? Probably shouldn't have put the red in, but that gives some more color. the red would look good, but don't look as good as I thought. Poor little crawls floating. I still got the hot glue thing. Kind of like to pile him. See what this looks like. Any way to mess it up, I'm going to, looks like. That should hold him on there now. Okay. Kind of like that. Got some different colors going on. Let's go with that. Let's put everything back up. Use it for something else later on. That leaf there. I can look at that leaf. Where'd that thing go? Looks like something that might would be floating through. Something like that might be in there, but kind of stuck. Okay, got me some more resin mixed up. And we're either going to do this and it look good, or we're going to make a big old mess. How'd that string get in there? Okay. Let's start getting the crankbait and see if it floats up or anything crazy. The fishing line moved on me. Okay. Let's put it on the wood. Okay, let's see what's happening here. You can see it's working its way up. Don't kind of want him tangled up in this stuff. But it may look okay being light flying up through it. It may look pretty good. And you do see these little particles of stuff. I don't know if I need to get it out. Tell you the truth, in the water there's all kinds of junk floating around, so I don't know if it's that big a deal or not. But I'll move them over. There's one right there on the end of that. My fishing line's totally disappeared in there, so I don't know where it's at. Okay, that's got a good coating on it. Almost want it to dry and then put another layer, because if I pile it on there, it may be too thick and not do right. Because this resin, I don't know what, how much I can get away with. Looking good though. Get that all down a little bit. Looks good puffed up, but I believe I'll be sticking out my mold. Okay, till I pour another spot. Okay, I mixed up another batch. I did not let this dry. This is just after me pouring it a few minutes ago. I think I can go ahead and pour more in there. The worst thing could probably happen with if my crankbait floats up. That would be the worst thing could happen. But I think it'll be, you know, or if it gasses off and does something crazy with the... You can see it covering the crankbait now. Because it is hollow, it would float. And this GoPro is right in front of my face, it being on my chest, and you can hear me breathe like crazy, I know, and I'm probably driving you crazy, but sorry. Okay. I'm going to clean this stick off a little bit for later. Okay, let's grab another paper towel. Well, it hadn't floated yet. I've got this guy almost totally submerged. He does have something on his back. Piece of leaf. Get that off there so it'd look a little better. And as far as the little particles that's in the water, truthfully, there's particles in water, so I think I will take my torch and bust some bubbles. That's getting close. See if I can't pop a few bubbles. And then I think this time I will leave it alone and let it dry, kick, and therefore I add the rest in to fill it on up. I've covered up most of it. I think it will be fine on sanding. Let's see if we can pop some of these bubbles. Oh yeah. Oh, burnt some grass. It's okay. Okay. Got that on fire. Couple little bubbles. I don't care if they're there, I just don't want them right over his eyeball. Well, this guy's still sticking out of the water pretty good. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Coming out of the mold, that guy's sunk good. All the little bubbles are out of the mossy stuff. Now, should I put more in or not? Apparently I've got another bubble come up there. Makes me wonder if my bill on that crankbait's leaking air. Okay, it looks like it'd be underwater, don't it? Well, shoot, I think I'll go ahead and do some more because I think it'll cure fine. I'd like to get him underwater or under the resin. See, it popped out another bubble there. It's coming out of that bill. It's getting there. Look how pretty the wood looks. That's wet right now, but got some bubbles coming here, and I believe that's coming out of the wood, even though I sealed most of it. It's getting some bubbles out of the wood. Look at those bubbles. But that's going to be on the bottom, and it's going to be covered up with wood down there anyway. Or another piece of wood. Okay, I think I'll let her sit. Until next time. Okay. This is what it looks like today. It is slick. Real shiny, smooth. I did get some gassing off right here. I don't know if you can see that good. I'll put it down there closer. Which is done that, and see how this has warped the edge of it. And this is kind of shrunk into this from the heat of the resin. The crankbait area, there's some bubbles that formed. I should be able to clean them out and then put more resin on it, and it should get rid of that. Here's some bubbles down here that formed. Try to fill it back up too. But everything looks pretty good. I mean, I think the light will shine up through it. If I need to get rid of these spots and then do something with that I may just grind it away and then add more resin. There is something going on real deep underneath the crankbait. I think air worked its way out or something, or worked its way in or something. But there's something going on there. It looks murky, like you would see in water. But we'll look at it. We're going to slightly sand this down to where it's a 220 sandpaper. You can see my little crawls. They're looking good. That one did collect a lot of bubbles underneath, but, I don't really mind that either. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The wood's looking beautiful. I mean, that's just gorgeous looking on the wood. So let me sand this out a little bit. See if I can get rid of this gas off spot there where it got so hot. And fill this thing on up. I'll shape the sides down. Bring them back, polish them back when I pull the mold. So I'm not worried about the waviness or anything. I was hoping it would stay straight, but the resin made it warp up. See, it's warping up, so we'll fix it. Okay. Let me sand a little bit. Thank you for watching part 2 of the 4-part video. Part 3 coming up will be finishing up the epoxy pores on the lamp part and starting to sand it in and getting it ready for the wooden trim to be put together to finish up the lamp. So continue to part 3 to finish up the lamp.